Hello everybody and welcome to the weekly horoscopes for the 10th of February to the 16th of February. And this is quite an interesting week because we have a lot of energy culminating for the Leo full moon on the 12th of February, which can be quite dramatic. We also still have a little bit of a slog during this week as well, because we do have quite a few planets in detriment right now. We do have Jupiter direct in Gemini, which is in its detriment. We have Mars in Cancer. We have Venus in Aries. We also have Sun in Aquarius, and eventually we'll also have Mercury in Pisces on the 18th as well. So we do have quite a few planets that are in detriment, and that is causing a real sort of where am I going, what am I doing kind of energy. So if you're feeling a bit sort of like, God, this year is just crap, then you're not the only one. So I'm going to go down Aries, Gemini, Taurus and Cancer for this video. So let's kick off with Aries rising specifically. So on the 10th of February, Mercury in Aquarius in your 11th house will be squaring Uranus in Taurus in your 2nd house. So you might feel very sort of restless and impatient here. There could be some shocking communication around finances and friends, because Uranus and Taurus is very sort of shocking, especially when it comes to that 2nd house of finances. So it could be that there is communication that just doesn't quite add up, or you're not expecting some communication from a friend about finances. So this energy also, you want to really avoid impulsivity when it comes to that as well. So kind of be like, right, there's a problem here. Let me deal with it in a very calm manner. On the 11th of February, the moon in Leo in your 5th house is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini in the 3rd house. So this is a good kind of chance to open up to some new experiences with creativity, with dating and children, and just feeling like there's more possibility in life. Again, seeing that big picture with Jupiter and Gemini, because Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, because Jupiter sees the big picture and Gemini focuses on the details. So what you really need to try and do is kind of like best that and focus on the big picture here. And this can be related to, again, dating, family, or your productivity. On the 12th of February, we have a Leo full moon in the 5th house. So this is letting go of something with dating, children, and it's quite dramatic as well. It reminds me of a painter who completely smashes up their favourite art piece, doesn't like it, gets a blade and thinks, gah, and then chucks it away, and then 5 minutes later thinks, oh, maybe shouldn't have done that. That kind of energy. But you're letting go of something to do with that kind of theme. This moon is also a little bit more shocking as well, because it is also squaring Uranus direct in Taurus. I do have a video on the Leo full moon on my channel if you want to watch. I have more detail on that, so it's a little bit more dramatic. On the same day, that moon in Leo is actually squaring Uranus and Taurus, as I mentioned. So something will irritate you probably, and then you want to kind of break out of that. You could feel very trapped during this time with that 5th house. So try to keep those emotions under control. On the 13th of February, moon in Virgo in the 6th house, squaring Jupiter in Gemini in the 3rd house. So, you know, this is a really good time to be grateful for your work environment, for stability, and the way that you're able to go through life. This is really being grateful for the small things in your routine, getting up in the morning and having a coffee, for example, and kind of making sure that you are focusing everything you do on the basis of gratitude and, you know, saying, I actually get to do these things. I think it's a good day to just be really reflective on the great things you have in your life. On the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces in the 12th house. So Mercury in Pisces is in its detriment here, much like Mercury in Sagittarius. So this is like, what are you trying to say to me? But Mercury in Pisces just has its good kind of things, because it increases imagination. And it's also really great for creative projects. In that 12th house, you can get very creative with your mental health, do more art projects to kind of make yourself feel more calm. And, you know, I think it's also a time to maybe think on alone as well. So you're not necessarily putting two heads together and saying, how can I fix this problem or this issue? You're really going within, you're sitting in that dark room for 30 minutes and saying, this is my thing. On the 16th of February, the moon in Libra in your 7th house of committed relationships squares Mars in Cancer, which is currently retrograding in the 4th house. So something can really get under your skin about relationships or some kind of contract you have when it comes to home and family. Again, you could feel really trapped and you want to lash out, but that's only really going to create more issues down the line. So you really need to channel the energy of kind of frustration here into something more useful and have a healthy outlet, especially because you don't want to be having issues with home and family and then thinking, oh God. So there could be a dichotomy between either romantic relationships or a contract you have with something with your home and family life, and kind of putting those together really. So Aries, this week is, I don't think there's anything really special happening this week. There's also not something super negative, but that Leo full moon might add a bit of drama and intrigue to the week. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll move on to Taurus. If you are a Taurus rising, then on the 10th of February, Mercury in Aquarius in your 10th house is squaring Uranus and Taurus in your first house of self. So you might feel very restless and patient during this time. You could really feel very impulsive towards your career and how it's shaping your identity and your sense of self, which might lead you to want to do something quite dramatic, but actually you need to focus on the small things here. You could also have some kind of, a focus on a revamp when it comes to your identity and how it pertains to your career as well. This is kind of an energy of, I want people to see me and know me as a standout person, but maybe this is not the right time to try and push that onto people. On the 11th of February, the moon in Leo in the 4th house is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini in the 2nd house. So this is a good time to open up to new experiences when it comes to home and family, and you probably need money to do that. So this could be a good time to either book a holiday or, try to go on a day out with family and, again, doing something different. It does require money. So you kind of need to step back and say, maybe we need to sacrifice some of our savings in order to do something new because it's going to help us in the long run. On the 12th, we have a Leo full moon in the 4th house of home and family. So this full moon is particularly dramatic. You're letting go of something to do with home and family, but it is a little bit sort of like melodramatic in that way. On the same day, that moon in Leo is squaring Uranus and Taurus, so in your first house of self. So that could be a sort of irritating energy. You may want to just like break out when it comes to something like home and family. It's like I'm trying to bring these ideas out to make my home and family life better, but for some reason it's not working. And because you feel so irritated, it's kind of doing the opposite effect as well. So if you can try and stay calm as possible and not come from a place of ego and drama, then it's going to help you in the long run quite a bit. On the 13th, the moon in Virgo in your 5th house is squaring Jupiter and Gemini in your 2nd house. So this is a really good day to be grateful for all the opportunities in your life that bring creativity, that bring opportunities to meet people, and that bring opportunities to really create and grow things in life as well. And mixing that again with money. So it could be that you could just be grateful that I can afford to, take myself to an art class. And I feel very grateful for that. I don't know people's circumstances, not saying that people can do that, but it's a really good day to be grateful for the small things. On the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces in your 11th house. Mercury, much like Sagittarius, is debilitated in Pisces, so this is not great. We already have a lot of planets in detriment right now, Sun in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini, Mars in Cancer, Venus in Aries, it's just not great. So you might prefer to be on your own right now and think about things, because in your 11th house of friendships as well, this could be a time to create something with your friends, something more imaginative, kind of proposing something kind of creative with them. You might do something differently, like you might go to a different place. But you might also feel that you're not able to express your thoughts in the right way to friends, and so the best thing to do is just not do it at all. So you could feel slightly lonely when Mercury enters Pisces. On the 16th, the moon in Libra in the 6th house is squaring Mars in Cancer in your 3rd house. So something can really get under your skin, probably to do with co-workers and productivity, and there's something where that's not really able to work out, or communication in the work environment is just not happening, and you might want to lash out, and that's causing more problems. For some of you, this is more of a physical health thing, so it's like I can't quite get my routine sorted out because something in my physical health is affecting me. So for example, my back has been out, shoulders been out for the past 2-3 weeks, causing me headaches. I've not been able to do my routine properly, and that's kind of frustrated me. So that kind of energy can also come through for you as well, Taurus. So that's the kind of energy for this week. I don't think it's really terrible. I also don't think it's really great either. I mean, we have some drama with the Leo full moon, but I think you're going to have to exercise some impulse control with that, especially with Uranus and Taurus squaring the moon and sun. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll move on to Gemini rising. If you are a Gemini rising, then on the 10th of February, Mercury in Aquarius in your 9th house is squaring Uranus and Taurus in your 12th house. So this is very sort of restless, impatient energy. You could feel like you want to get out there and you want to express new ideas. You want to meet like-minded people that, you can have deep conversations with, but you're kind of like, I'm not finding that, which can lead you to feel trapped and very impulsive, especially with Uranus and Taurus, which is direct right now. So you really need to avoid doing something impulsive, especially around your mental health or having some kind of breakdown with that, and working on small changes or small things that can help you feel more free and help you to feel like there's more opportunity to speak to people, especially when it comes to study opportunities and travel opportunities too. On the 11th of February, the moon in Leo in the third house is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini in your first house, which Jupiter is now direct in Gemini, which is great and very lucky for you, although it might not feel like it right now because we do have a lot of planets in detriment, and actually one of them is Jupiter in Gemini, so it might feel at the moment not great. So on the 11th, open up to new experiences when it comes to writing, productivity and communication with your identity, and kind of feeling more possibilities in life. Again, seeing the big picture. Jupiter is in its detriment with Gemini because Jupiter sees the big picture and Gemini doesn't focus on the details. So you really need to kind of turn that on its head and say, I know I'm a Gemini rising, but I have to actually focus on the big picture here, especially when it comes to productivity and how that's going to affect your life in a positive way. On the 12th of February, we have a Leo full moon in that third house. So you're letting go of something to do with communication. It could be going no contact. It could be quite dramatic. You could be blocking somebody and being like, oh, a lot of years, not doing it. Could be something to do with your day-to-day routine. You're not able to continue a certain routine. Or it could be to do with a writing project or a thesis or something along those lines. This full moon is particularly dramatic. I have a video on it if you're interested in seeing the full breakdown of the full moon. It's quite dramatic. It's also... Oh, my voice went then. It's also squaring Uranus and Taurus in that 12th house as well. So something with communication is affecting your mental health. It could be you're going through a period of, well, they never answer my text, so I need to block them or something like that. It's irritating you and it's shocking. Makes you want to break out, but actually doing that is going to be worse in the long run. So you kind of need to have some impulse control and try to keep it on a certain level. So it's a bit melodramatic, that full moon. On the 13th, the moon in Virgo in the 4th house is squaring Jupiter and Gemini in your first house of self. So you might be taking things for granted during this day. I've been saying for a lot of the signs, this is a great day to be very grateful for what you have. Because of that first house of self and that moon in Virgo in the 4th house, a good day to be grateful for having a roof over your head, having a warm blanket to sleep in, having home and family, you know, whatever it is. Even if you don't have a big family, I don't have a big family, just being grateful for people in your life that give you support. Anything that you can think of that is really grateful when it comes to the home and family will really make you feel good on this day. On the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces in your 10th house. Mercury, much like Sagittarius, is debilitating Pisces, so yeah, we have another planet in detriment. This is not really great because it's very sort of like, what are you saying? You're going all over the place. Like, I'm a Mercury in Sagittarius, and you can probably tell by these videos. But Mercury in Pisces is very sort of, you are waffling on, not getting to a point. And also, it's very sort of conspiracy, almost head in the clouds, to a point where people are like, this woman's gone mad. That kind of energy. So it's not really a good time to communicate very important ideas at your career right now. I'm not saying you can't do that, because actually there's some great positive aspects to Mercury in Pisces, which is very imaginative, thinks about things from a different perspective, which is good when the sun is in Aquarius right now. But you might prefer to be doing solo projects, things on your own, things where you don't have to explain yourself too much. I think that might be beneficial for you as well, Gemini, especially because you're ruled by Mercury. So this is probably like, this is annoying for me. I just want to be able to say what I want to say. On the 16th, the moon in Libra in your 5th house is squaring Mars in Cancer in your 2nd house. So something to do with creative pursuits, children, or dating is getting under your skin when it comes to your finances and your money. So you might want to lash out. You're getting frustrated about this. But again, much like that Leo full moon, it's only going to cause more problems down the line. So channel that frustration into something useful. And have a healthy outlet for stress. Maybe something to do with your finances is bothering you, so you use that 5th house of creativity to channel it. It just depends on what your circumstances are. So Gemini, I hope you enjoyed that video. I don't think it's really a bad week. I don't think it's an amazing week either. It's kind of just, yeah, it's a bit melodramatic week actually. But hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'll move on to Cancer. Hi Cancer, welcome to the weekly horoscope for the 10th of February to the 16th of February. This week is particularly melodramatic, but let's just get into it. On the 10th of February, Mercury in Aquarius in your 8th house is squaring Uranus and Taurus in the 11th house. So you might feel very restless and impatient because you're wanting to pay off some kind of debt or focus on investments, but it's kind of like, I have to wait to make the money, and that makes you feel very impatient, which can lead to you doing something impulsive when it comes to your finances. This is not really something that you want to be doing. For some of you, this can actually be related to wanting to trust somebody, wanting to push a deeper bond with somebody, especially a friendship. But for some reason, there's a difficulty in doing that, and that leads you to want to do something impulsive. And actually, what you need to do is work on things at very small baby steps rather than saying, I'm just going to do this. So for some of you, this is related to finances, and for others, this is related to trying to deepen a bond with a friend or a relationship, and kind of feeling like you're not getting the kind of response you're looking for here. On the 11th, Moon in Leo in the 2nd house is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini in your 12th house. So this is a good time to open up to new experiences with your finances, kind of again related to that Mercury and Aquarius in the 8th house. Opening up to new experiences with finances and how that affects your mental health. Kind of feeling that there is possibility in life and not getting down about things. Seeing the big picture, which Jupiter and Gemini just doesn't do. So it's kind of like, I need to be the one that does that. On the 12th, we have a Leo full moon in the 2nd house. So this is again to do with finances. You're letting go of something to do like paying off a debt or an income stream, and trying to figure out something new with your finances, and again how that pertains to your investments. Again, that might be why you're feeling impatient. This is a particularly dramatic full moon as well, and it could also be a little bit fiery as well, so you could find yourself feeling a bit frustrated. The moon in Leo is squaring Uranus and Taurus in that 11th house as well, so again something could be irritating you when it comes to finances and a friendship or a close kind of social contact, and that makes you want to just break out and say something, but this is not going to help. So you kind of need to keep that under control. Uranus and Taurus as well is kind of instability with finances as well. It's kind of shocking thing with finances. So I would be a bit prepared to not put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to finances. On the 13th, the moon in Virgo in the 3rd house is squaring Jupiter in Gemini in the 12th house. So you might really be taking things for granted when it comes to how you're just able to do your day-to-day routine and how that affects your mental health. So this is a really good day to be grateful for what you have. Getting up in the morning and having a routine where you have a coffee, you have like a, I don't know, piece of bread or whatever with jam, I don't know what you have, right? And saying, I'm really grateful that I can have these small things in life that make me feel grateful, and that it affects my mental health in the correct way. And again, that will really boost you and make you feel happier. On the 14th, Mercury enters Pisces in your 9th house. Mercury, much like Sagittarius, is debilitated in Pisces, which is not great because it's kind of like, what are you saying to me? You're waffling on, you're a mad woman, that kind of thing. You just can't get your point across. We have a lot of planets in detriment right now. Sun in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini, Mars in Cancer, Venus in Aries. It's just like, oh my God, a lot of slog right now. So you might feel like you don't want to communicate your ideas to people, especially people that don't understand your ideas. That could be to do with studying, people who don't understand your grand plans when it comes to traveling, and some people that just don't understand spirituality full stop, and they just think, the amount of comments that I get that like, I can't believe you believe this crap, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm really sorry you're so close-minded, that kind of energy. So you might prefer to do your thinking alone right now, but you could have a lot of imagination and really kind of, like I said, grand plans when it comes to traveling and seeing the bigger picture and things. On the 16th, the moon in Libra in your 4th house is squaring Mars in Cancer, which is currently retrograding in the 1st house of self. So something to do with home and family and your identity is really going to get under your skin here. You might want to lash out, but that's only going to cause more problems. So you need to channel your energy into a healthy outlet. And that could be, advancing your appearance, your identity, and kind of focusing on your goals for the year, rather than having an issue with your home and family where it's going to be like, great, now everyone's upset with me, that kind of energy. So Cancer, I think this week is a little bit dramatic for you when it comes to finances and potentially home and family. But again, you can use that for good because you can channel that frustration, that drama into productive energy. Again, people always say, God, worst things. I always think that you use astrology as an influence in your life and you say, okay, I know Mars is going to piss me off on this day, so let me use that to do a particularly heavy workout, something along those lines where you're using it for the best. So again, this is not a particularly amazing week, but also not a bad week either. It's just a bit dramatic, a bit melodramatic. So use that for the positive and the best way that you can as well. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll move on to Leo.